Today we're going to be making a fall scene. Now in our fall scene, we got to remember that there are certain characteristics that set apart our fall seasons from our other seasons. Some particular examples I would like to point out are pumpkins, scarecrows, and most notably our leaves. So our leaves change from different colors throughout the seasons, but during fall they turn to pretty oranges, yellows, and reds. So in our drawing today, we're going to be displaying these orange, red, and yellows with our paint that's going to show texture compared to the rest of our drawings. But before we get started on our drawing, let's talk about landscape. So landscape is the visible features of an area of land. So this can be whether we are looking at the land, whether it's a picture, or painting, a drawing, anything. So when we look at these pictures or a drawing of a landscape, we're able to notice the visible features that set it apart from just an ordinary picture. So in our drawing today, I want us to make sure that we draw these visible features that set apart our picture from a normal picture to a picture that shows landscape. The next thing that I want to talk about is our perspective. Our perspective in our picture is what shows our solid objects on a two-dimensional surface. Our two-dimensional surface today is our piece of paper. Our solid objects are going to be our tree, a fence, a sky, anything that you would put in your picture. So what this perspective is going to do is create a more realistic drawing. So it would be more realistic than if we were to just draw a simple two-dimensional picture. This will give our picture a little bit of depth and allow our person viewing the photo or drawing to have a more realistic sense of what we drew. So in our drawing today, we want to draw some things that relate to fall. So some things that might relate to fall would be a scarecrow. Like I said, our leaves on our trees are going to be orange, red, and yellow. How about a pumpkin or a witch? I know it's getting closer to Halloween, so we can also think of other things that relate to Halloween, such as ghosts and goblins and ghouls. Alright, so let's begin by drawing our tree. So when we draw our tree, we're going to want to start at the bottom, and we're going to want to go up in a Y shape. This Y shape is going to allow us to give a good base for our drawing, to allow us to draw in the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. So as I started in my Y shaped here, I'm going to bring it down to add more branches to it. So if you notice as I'm drawing, it's almost like I'm drawing a bunch of little Y-shaped trees within my big Y-shaped tree. Alright, so there's my tree. So after I drew my tree, I can now see a little bit more of how my tree has become my centerpiece in my drawing here. So since it's in our center and it's the biggest thing in our picture, it's going to be in our foreground. So our foreground. Our foreground is going to be our items, is going to have items in it that are our biggest. So in my foreground, I drew my tree because that is our centerpiece, and I'm going to draw a pumpkin here. Like I said, in our foreground, our items or our objects are going to be bigger. So when our objects are bigger, we wanted to make sure that even though they might look a little different from the rest of our drawing, they're in the right place and they're supposed to be bigger to really show that perspective. Alright, so now that I've drawn my foreground, we're going to move on to my middle ground. So when I look at my picture here, my middle ground is almost exactly where it says it's going to be, in the middle. So first, to start out by drawing my middle ground, I'm going to draw something called my horizon line. Now my horizon line is basically my ground in the background. So imagine you were looking out into a field and you saw the sun setting back here, your horizon line is going to be right below that sun, right where you'd see the ground back there. My little item I'm going to draw in my middle ground is going to be a little person. Now I want